KIDO Talk Radio, joined in studio by Dr. Tommy Ahlquist. Dr. Ahlquist, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. It's nice to be here.
I wanted to say something to you that I haven't said to others, and I probably should have, but I wanted to personally thank you for jumping into the race. You could have done some other things. You could have continued your work, but you decided to jump into the arena. Most of us, we just stay in the crowds, but you jumped into the arena, so I wanted to thank you for that and for giving people a choice.
Well, thank you. You know, for years, a lot of times you think you can make a change from the outside, but dang it, there's a lot of things that government just controls. And there's only so much you can do from the outside. And I think years of that, trying to make a difference in the world and in our community, you see how important government is. Government is involved in our lives, and we should demand the same transparency and excellence out of government as we do ourselves. And the way you do that's from the inside. I've never been more proud of our team. Boy, this has been, 16 months of just grinding away. And this last 2 weeks, for me, going to 133 towns and just feeling the vibrancy and the energy everywhere we went. And these folks now feel like family. It is an army out there that are ready to take on the status quo. That's tough. It's tough to take on the status quo. It's tough to say, hey, we can do better. It's tough to say, hey, let's let Idaho lead. But that's what we're feeling. It feels so good. And finally, all these undecideds turned. This last weekend, we've never felt better, but it's been the pleasure of my life to jump in and meet all these people. I can't wait to serve them.
How does that compare with saving lives and building buildings?
Oh, I've never been asked that question. I think medicine, the true art of medicine, going into a room and connecting with a patient and understanding what that issue is. And I got a call last night from someone that I didn't even remember that when I was a doctor, it was a really challenging diagnosis, and I saved their child. And I hadn't even heard from this person till last night on the way home. There's nothing like that. I mean, there's nothing like that. Business is a little different because it's business. But getting into this has been very personal. There are people out there you hear stories every day of I can't afford health care. Just gut-wrenching stories of people trying to make it and can't, whether those are wages or education stories. And so it's very personal again. But again, it's about fixing things. So I think a lot of what I love doing is in the ER, you walk in a room and you try to fix or heal. In the business world, you see the hole, you see something that needs to be done, and you do it. And I think this fits right in with that. You see government. Every single part of government needs some fixing. A lot of ways it needs to just get better, get out of the way, and in some ways it is government that needs to improve. It is government that needs to change the way it provides service to us. And it is government that needs to remember that government serves the people, not the other way around. One of the most telling things this last year for me as I've dug in is a lot of times I had this conversation last night in Idaho Falls at 9 p.m.
Wow.
I had a state worker come up to me and say, hey, you don't like state workers? I said, I love state workers. He said, well, you're the guy that's going to come in and make a difference with state workers. I said, listen, I don't speak politician very well, but I know leadership. I said, I promise you, when your department, whatever, he wouldn't tell me what department he was in. I said, when your department is running like it can, I know how to lead. I know how to rally people. We can do better. We will do better.
Dr. Tommy Ahlquist joining us here. Is there a swamp in Boise?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Everyone knows it. I mean, just look at this election. It's worse than states with two parties, right? You've got one party, and everyone knows in the entire state that there's 12 to 14 lobbyists that run this place. They know it. Everybody knows it. And it's time to break that up. It is time to represent the people of Idaho from the executive branch of government. And it's going to happen. And let me tell you what, Kevin, the establishment is raging. And the good news is we live in a place, a democracy, where people get to go out and vote. And I think they underestimated the power of actually getting out and campaigning. We've hit a lot of these little towns so many times. It's a funny story from last week. I was in Buell, Idaho, and I was at a meet and greet again. There was one lady that was there that was new, just loaded with people. And she said, all these negative ads and everything we hear about you, how do we know we can trust you? And one of the other gals there raised her hand and she said, good hell, he's been here 7 times. If you don't trust him by now. So that's what we're feeling out there. I think campaigning, hard work, the authenticity of our campaign, the fact that we've looked in so many eyes and shook so many hands over 16 months, it's going to happen. It's going to happen today.
Let's get back to the idea of the lobbyist. What happens if you get the nomination and you win the governorship? What about what's your plan, as the president would say, to drain the swamp?
So first of all, make sure I make it clear. I mean, there are some groups that are nonprofit groups that have representation from someone that represents them. That's a lot different than these core downtown group who run this state. We're not going to meet with them. We'll meet with CEOs any day of the week, but we're gonna they shouldn't be in the Capitol with an office that's one. That's a starter. And then we're going to represent the people. The agenda will be the people's agenda, not big business agenda. You don't get something done by paying someone. You get something done by having it be part of the people's agenda. That's going to be a big difference in this state, and I can't wait.
Is that what people? One of the many things, and you've done the listening tour. When you hear from them, again, we're kind of in our own little insular world here. I hear that from a lot of listeners at KIDO Talk Radio. They're concerned about too many certain lobbyists having power. But is that an issue that people talk to you about when you're on the trail?
Oh, everywhere. Everyone gets it. This is a known fact everywhere you go. Everyone knows, and I think it's probably worse outside of Ada County, right? Because when you're outside of Ada County, not only are you putting up with kind of Ada County a dominant system, but then you know that system it advantages the big companies. It takes care of those big companies that pay for things to be done, and it's really sad. We need to come together as one Idaho. That's what we're going to do. I mean, we're so geographically separate. You've got North Idaho and the Magic Valley and Eastern Idaho feel so disconnected, and rural Idaho is the place. We need solutions that are part of a statewide agenda where anyone in this state knows what are we going to do for health care? What do we do for education, infrastructure, mental health? What's the plan? And then how does legislation fit into that plan? How do we work with our good legislature? We've got great legislators out there that spend their life trying to make their community better. Can't wait to work with them. But feeling very, very good today, Kevin. This election's about the future of Idaho, with a great nod to our past, our heritage, our values. But we are competing with other states. We're competing for our kids. We're competing for our jobs here, and there's so much more we can do to make this state, to build an even better Idaho. I mean, that's what this is about.
Here comes the famous Kevin Miller softball. Has it been worth it? All the effort, all the energy, time away from your family, time away from your business, and learning this new world. You're a great student because of your past and what you've accomplished, but learning this crazy, dysfunctional world of state politics.
It's been so worth it. I'll tell you why it's been worth it. Just yesterday, we were in Coeur d'Alene, Lewiston, Twin Falls, Pocatello, and Idaho Falls yesterday. And in each location, surrounding myself with these people that just 16 months ago, there's one gal that was there last night that I met in the basement of a candy shop in March of last year when I started my tour. And that one woman has changed my life. There's Leo and Becky who own a welding shop in Rexburg. They have become like family to me. They're an army. The sheriff in Bingham County. These people that have become like family, they want something more. They care deeply about their jobs. They care deeply about their family, and they're just tired of the status quo. I'll tell you what, when you look in their eyes, you embrace them. You hear them tell you that how much they love and appreciate you. This has been worth it.
It's a matter of trust.
Oh yeah, it's a matter of trust and relationship. We live in a state where people. I've said this since day one. In Idaho, you have to go do the hard work. People want to shake your hand. They want to look you in the eye. They want to trust you. But I'll tell you what, once they do, they'll go do anything for you, and that's humbling.
Dr. Tommy Ahlquist joining us here. Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. The difference between you and your other opponents, sir?
Oh, I think those lanes are very, very clear at this point. I mean, even through all the advertising and everything else, I think that that hopefully, and I trust the voters of Idaho that I am uniquely qualified and different with a background in healthcare. That is our issue, and the joke has been on us too long. And on one side, you've got. Can you imagine we're to the point in America where people are saying let's socialize medicine, but on the other side, it's just as bad. We've got big business, pharmacies, pharmacy benefit managers, big insurance companies, all taking advantage of a system, and we're left in the middle. People want that broken up, and I can't wait to do that. Secondly, we've got an education system that could be so much better for our people, for our kids. They deserve better, and I can't wait to get in there and do that. And finally, small business. Oh, my goodness. Won't it be nice to have someone that actually has built multiple small businesses, employed people, invested money, know how hard that is, and actually looks out for that small business owner in the state of Idaho. That's who I'll represent. That's why I did this.
Dr. Tommy Ahlquist joining us here. Kevin Miller in the morning. So how are you going to spend the day?
I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go vote with my wife and family, and then I'm going to go lock myself in a room and text and make calls all the way till 8 p.m.
Wow.
I'm not going to stop. I mean, the finish line's right there, but I was making calls last night after 10, which I felt a little bad about, but not too bad. Because people want to hear there's still undecideds out there, and I would tell anybody this morning, if you're still undecided, please text message in or call our office, and we'll give you a personal call back. We need every undecided. This is going to be a close race, and anyone who's still deciding who to vote for, we'd love to have you vote, and I'd ask for that.
You know, here's another one. There are so many issues, but what have you learned from going to schools? You've been to a lot of schools.
I have been to a lot of schools. I will tell you that here's what I've learned. If you unleash the minds of these kids and you get out of the way a little bit, they will learn and they will grow and they will surprise us at every turn. And if you allow teachers to teach our kids, if we can respect that profession, get as much money down to the teachers as we can, and then let them teach our kids, so much regulation and education, that combo of letting kids learn, letting teachers teach, we have the greatest kids in the country. You look at the values that these kids grow up with here, the sky's the limit for them. But we need to stop a system from holding them back. And it's totally possible. I've been so inspired by the different education opportunities that are in Idaho. Problem we have here is we don't scale them well. And we will scale them. We will get those opportunities to every kid in Idaho.
Yeah, well, and you take a look at it, do each areas have their own challenges? We have teacher shortages here, but is that the same in eastern Idaho, northern Idaho? And you have people saying, look, we're throwing more money in education. You've seen the boom going on here. We can't keep up. And then you have Mayor Tammy saying, hey, I need help from the state.
Yeah, no doubt funding formulas for education will be a major priority. And we can talk a lot about money because money is always an issue in everything that we do. But we need to start talking about how we're investing that money in education, and just instead of just spending the money in education into a system that is proven that it doesn't change any of the results out there. Let's invest it wisely. And let's deregulate. I mean, so often, one of probably the biggest concerns I've heard is, it's all federal strings attached to our schools. Baloney. Look at the state regulation of our schools. There's so much more we can do as a state to set an example of letting these teachers teach. Be clear on what we want out of them, but let's get out of the way. Let's get as much money to them. We can't recruit and retain teachers right now, but there are layers of administrative burden in this state that need to be cleaned up. It's the same thing. It's fresh looks at budgets and how we're doing things. Let's modernize our education. Let's keep our kids here in Idaho.
And then you do have people that are concerned, as you said, somebody worried about that you don't like such and such. You're just looking at things with a fresh look when we're talking about state government.
Yeah. Fresh look. You know, there's been a lot of spinning and twisting. I mean, if you're trying to scare state employees, that's what's happened. We are not going to touch Percy. Percy is the best run program, and it's the envy of most states. I do not think that any state worker should worry one bit. This guy last night, I looked him right in the eyes. I said, go talk to any nurse or any person that's worked for me for 20 years. Go talk to any employee that's worked with me. We know how to work, but we know how to lead. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great, but it's going to be different. I said to him, as long as you know who your customers are, you take care of them, and you help us run this state efficiently and lean, we're going to be just fine.
Dr. Tommy Ahlquist joining us. Your thoughts on the state of the Republican Party? Bit of a competitive primary.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's been very competitive. But my goodness, I hope we can come together. I hope once this is over. I mean, one of the things that's been it's been disappointing with a lot of the things that have gone on, but they're very passionate. Our party is very passionate about this election. And I believe that when this day is over, that we can come together, that the ideas, the conservative values and ideas that we have as a state, we can be an example for the United States of America. We can be that conservative state that says, look at how Idaho fixed healthcare in a conservative way. Look at how Idaho's doing education, vocational education, higher ed. They're keeping their kids there in conservative ways. And oh my goodness, look at what Idaho's doing for small business. That's my vision. That falls right in line with all the Republicans I know. We need to get more Republicans under the tent committed so that we can continue this great legacy we have of being a red state where people love to live because we are red. And we're under attack, Kevin. You know that.
Yep.
From all areas. We got a lot of people moving in here. People always ask me, one of the questions I get asked all the time is, how do we keep Idaho, Idaho? Well, we keep Idaho by stop talking. Politicians talk too much. We just stop talking and have conservative solutions that keep us conservative, with actions that keep us conservative. Rhetoric won't do it. Talking about it won't do it. But having conservative solutions will keep us the state we are. It'll keep the values that are here. On the social side of things, you look at the attack. George Soros and his cronies they're attacking us. They're attacking our families. They're attacking our universities. We're going to need to be strong and stand up with conservative values that have made this country great. We can do it right here in Idaho.
Dr. Tommy Ahlquist joining us. Finally, we want to invite you to our Unity Breakfast before the Unity Rally. We're partnering with the State Republican Party. Of course, we'll be there tonight, but we'd love to invite you, sir. I know you're very busy, so we hope you can make it.
Oh, I'd love to, Kevin. Thank you for all you do. It's been one of the great pleasures of the campaigning year is getting to know you so well. No matter what community event I go to, whatever the fundraiser is, there you are. First in, last out, always.
Well, thank you, sir.
You and your family. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, people want more information?
Yeah, TommyForIdaho.com or our Facebook page. Again, if there's anyone out there that's undecided, message us. Email us. We'll get back to you today. I may even call you myself. They'll give me that number. But please, if you're undecided, give us a chance today. We'd love to have your vote.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're listening to Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And more of your phone calls here. Don't forget our coverage begins tonight at 8, and we'll be at Terry's Cafe in Meridian beginning at 5 for our Unity Breakfast. We urge all folks, all people involved in campaigns to join us as we unite after a contentious primary season. By the way, let's go to, what was it, Sherila? What was your name again? Sherla. All right, Sherla. Good to have you with us here at KIDO Talk Radio.
Thank you for having me.
I wonder what you're going to talk about today.
Thank you. I want to talk about quickly about Michael Snyder for Congress, Idaho Congressional District Number 1, and I just want to say he is 100% pro-life, and I want to apologize if I misspoke yesterday.
Not at all. You're welcome here to roll.
Thank you for your show. It's wonderful. I've been sitting here listening to it, and I just want to thank you for everything that you've done, too.
Well, thank you, and hopefully we'll keep you around after Election Day.
Yes, sir. And I just want to say that Michael Snyder is a great man. He loves America, and he loves Idaho. And just God bless you, Kevin Miller, and thank you for everything, too.
Well, you don't be a stranger. If I see you on the streets, come up and give me a hug, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Pro-Life joins us now. Sorry about that, but thank you for holding. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Oh, that's all right. The host gets to manage the program, and that's fine. But
it's more like the inmates run the asylum, but go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm one of the inmates. But anyway, I want to ask all the candidates, and you could ask them for me. You could say one of our regulars, Pro-Life, wants everybody to ask this about the add the words. Add the words has to do with that the government will not allow citizens to discriminate against the sexually confused in employment, housing, and public accommodation. Now, that's a really important question, and I've not heard that being asked throughout the whole state. But, I bring up all these kind of things, but that's all I wanted to say. That's what they need to be asked. What's your position on add the words?
All right.
I'll get out of here.
We'll see you tonight. You coming by tonight?
If I can, I might have to work. Might have to keep irrigating.
It's going to be a late night. Swing in.
Yeah, well, I got to go to bed so I can get up early.
I'll be going to bed and getting up early, too. All right, Pro-Life, thank you.
Don't eat sugar.
Roger that. Thank you. Bye-bye. Traffic and weather together at KIDO Talk. And we continue on. Let's go to Steve in Meridian at KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Kevin, good morning. Thank you for the call. I'm so excited about the primary today. Make no mistake, it's all about the governor's race. Make no mistake, all three of the major Republican candidates are far stronger than the Democrats will be in the major election. But I have to say that despite all the ads and they're all, slinging mud at each other, what really turned me on to the right candidate was listening to them speak. And with all due respect, Brad Lidl's a nice guy, but he lacks articulation. He can't articulate and passionately describe what he believes or what he's going to do as governor. Tommy Ahlquist, He's got family money, and he's a fast-talking, opinionated guy who seems to have memorized all the classic talking points of a political outsider, meaning somebody who doesn't have experience. And I still haven't heard, and all the times he's been on your show, one thing he's going to do to change. He mentions education and healthcare and all these buzzwords, but there's no specifics. Then I come to Raul Labrador, so inspired by this man, self-made leader who, when you hear him speak, it's not memorized talking points. He doesn't lack conviction and passion. And I'm so excited with the hope that this guy, Raul Labrador, wins the primary today, and then will naturally win the overall election. And Kevin, I want to thank you also for, even though I think you're leaning one way or the other, you've done a great job of maintaining neutrality during this and giving fair chance to all the candidates. And I respect you and thank you for that.
Well, Steve, we're only human, but we have the congressman coming up next.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye. My man, Gary.
Hey, good morning. Hey, thank you for all that you do. You've been really informing the voters wonderfully, and I appreciate you doing that. And thank you for letting me talk. Hey, the people today have a distinct choice on who they want them to represent in Congress. We continue to see this pattern of establishment politicians, which, of course, all of them seem to be working at least against our president and the people of Idaho. Senator Rand Paul made it perfectly clear in his endorsement to Michael Snyder is that, he says the only candidate that will stand up for the corruption in Washington, and we need an outsider and a fighter. That's what Senator Rand Paul says. And it's funny, he's moving away from Labrador's choice to fill his seat, and he's standing behind Michael Snyder. And that's kind of where a lot of people are going to that. So, Michael is a fighter. He's very distinct in what he does. He's got so much passion. He's got so much integrity. He's a pro-Trump Christian. And, I have, like I've told you before, I've lived in this state 40 years. I've never done this before for anybody, ever. And this man is remarkable at what he has done, what he's going to do. And I believe in this person. I really, truly believe in this man, and I wouldn't be doing this for anybody unless I truly researched them out first to find out who they are, what they're going to do for Idaho and for our country.
And Gary,
and I think that's who we need. That's who we need in Washington.
Sure.
Not this politicians that seem to go there and say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna help you. We're gonna do things," and they don't.
Well, Gary, you're the star of the primary for us, and we'll explain more after it's all over. I hope to see you tonight at the Riverside.
I'll be there.
Please stop by and we'll put you on. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Gary, very passionate about his candidate. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. KIDO Talk Radio, out to Congressman Raul Labrador joining us here this morning. Candidate for governor, the end of the road or the beginning of a new road. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you, Kevin?
Pretty good. Is this like old home day for you? Back in the saddle, a highly competitive race that's garnered a lot of attention?
It is a great race. I think the people of Idaho will choose wisely tonight. We're very excited about what's happening in this race. We've been traveling the state, talking to people. Last night I was knocking on doors till 9 o'clock at night. And just making sure that I left everything on the field. And we feel really good about what we've done. We get a lot of praise for running a positive campaign. And I think the people of Idaho will reward the most positive campaign of the three. So we're very excited about tonight.
That's a very astute point, the influence of outside and negative campaigning, whether or not that had an impact or, as you've said again and again, a reverse impact.
What we have seen is that it's had a reverse impact. When you talk to people over the last week, I have had many people who were supporting either one of my opponents who have come up to me and thanked me for running a positive campaign. And they said that the positive campaign actually changed their mind, that they decided to vote for me because I was able to run a campaign on issues, on integrity, on ethics. And it's the way I've conducted my life, Kevin, during the last 12 years in public office, and I will continue to conduct my life this way if I'm lucky enough to be the governor of the state.
What does that mean to you, sir? You and I have talked, and you have talked to folks for many, many years, the idea of the American dream, most of us in civics class, maybe we run for student class president or something of that nature, but you've actually done that in the arena and going from one of 400 something to one of 50.
It means a lot. It's been an amazing journey. I have truly lived the American dream. I've been so fortunate. I was born in Puerto Rico, as you know, to a single mother, and to think that I went from that moment to the moment today where I'm a member of Congress representing the good people of Idaho, and that I'm going to have a chance, if I'm fortunate tonight, to be the nominee for the Republican Party, to be the governor of the state of Idaho. It's the American dream. I had an opportunity yesterday to go to my mother's grave and to just spend a little bit of time there and just to thank her for the way she raised me, for everything she did for me, for teaching me values and virtues, and for teaching me to always believe in myself and to surround me with people of good values, good honor. And I am so grateful to all the people in Idaho who have worked so hard for this race, who have worked so hard for this campaign. I couldn't even begin to thank everyone because it's amazing what people have done, and I'm so fortunate, so blessed to have so many good people just on our team. And we are so excited about today, and we just need to finish strong.
Congressman Labrador joining us, candidate for governor here at KIDO Talk Radio. Congressman, could you tell us about your relationship and your support for President Trump?
President Trump and I have worked very closely together. As you know, I did support him in the primary. But as soon as he became the nominee, I had the opportunity to meet with him. And he and I had a very long conversation. And he told me what he wanted to do. And we talked at length about the Supreme Court. And he told me that he wanted to put some really good people in the Supreme Court and that he would keep his promises. And I believed him. And after that day, after the primary, I became a strong supporter. I did everything I could to make sure he got elected. I visited 3 different states with President Trump, or with his family, or with Mike Pence. In 6 of the 8 events that I did with the Trump team, I was the only member of Congress who would stand on the stage. I mean, think about that, Kevin. You had a Republican nominee, and you could get the local members of Congress to even stand on the stage with the team. As you know, in this race, Brad Little did nothing to help President Trump get elected, and Tommy Alquist actually voted against President Trump in the general election. If either one of them would have had their way, we would have had a different outcome. But I went out and I worked hard. I made sure that he got elected. Is one of the reasons that he considered me for a cabinet position. I was one of 2 finalists for the Secretary of Interior. I'm glad I didn't get it because now I have this opportunity to run for the governor of the state. But we have a tremendous relationship, and we have a lot of mutual respect. I can agree with him, but I can disagree with him when I disagree with him on some principles. And I think he appreciates that because I think he wants people who know who they are and who know what they stand for. And I think he said that to us several times in the Freedom Caucus, how much he appreciates the fact that we actually mean what we say and we follow through on our promises.
KIDO Talk Radio, Congressman Labrador joining us here, running for governor at KIDO Talk Radio. Today is primary day. Congressman, a lot has been made of legal and illegal immigration. For folks that aren't familiar with your records, maybe they weren't here when you were on Meet the Press, debating people that wanted to have open borders and the like. Can you clarify your position on the borders and the issues concerning not only that, but the refugees?
Yes, I have always been against illegal immigration. I have always been against giving a pathway to citizenship, a special pathway to citizenship for people that are here illegally. But, Kevin, I do believe in legal immigration. I do believe that legal immigration is good. But if you look online, Numbers USA just came out with a ranking this past week. I have an A+ with Numbers USA. You're familiar with Numbers USA, right, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
And they are not soft on immigration. They are very, very strong on illegal immigration. They just gave me an A+. President Trump has endorsed my bill that would stop illegal immigration. would close the loopholes in the immigration system, would do something about interior enforcement. Every single group out there that deals with immigration calls me a strong enforcement advocate. And the funny thing, even a newspaper up north, just yesterday came out with an article that the title of the article is Brad Little's attack on Raul Labrador being soft on illegal immigration is the biggest lie of this campaign. I mean, you have had KTVV, newspapers up north, all over the state, national publications like Breitbart, saying that calling Raul Labrador soft on illegal immigration is a complete and utter lie. I think my record is clear, but you know what's happening in this race, Kevin, is that you have two opponents who know that they're going to lose tonight. They know that they're not going to do very well. And the only way that they even have a chance at winning this race is by distorting my record, by lying about my record. And the good thing is that I haven't had to do that. I've been running on the issues. I've been running on the things that I believe in. And I believe the people of Idaho are going to reward them because we're better than that. You know, it's shame on them for running that kind of campaign. I believe the people of Idaho are better than that, and I think they reward politicians who are willing to tell the truth and to talk to them with honesty and integrity.
Congressman Labrador joining us here, running for governor at KIDO Talk Radio. What about the outside funding that's come into the state? Your thoughts on that?
You know, there's been a lot of money. That's the only race that I'm losing, which is the money race. I've been outspent 4-1 and 3-1 by my opponents. A lot of them, both of them have a tremendous wealth, and they have put a lot of their own money. They've also had a lot of outside groups, a lot of special interest groups. I have also had some supporters like Rand Paul and others campaign for me. But the reality is that this decision is going to be made by the people of Idaho based on Idaho values. They're looking for a strong conservative who is willing to take on the establishment. They're looking at somebody who's going to stop picking winners and losers. And that's been my entire career. My entire 12 years as a elected official, I have taken on the special interests. I have taken on the Democrats. I've even taken on my own party when they're wrong, when they're doing the things that are opposite of what we promised the people of Idaho or the people of the United States. I'm willing to stand up to them. That's why I took on the governor when he wanted to raise gas taxes when I was in the state legislature. I took on the governor when he wanted to put somebody as chairman of the Republican Party that the people of the Republican Party did not want. I even took on John Boehner, and I'm one of the people who got rid of John Boehner in the House of Representatives. I also took on Eric Holder as Attorney General. I've taken on Obama. I've done everything I need to do to represent the people of Idaho well. I'm proud of my record. I'm proud of the things that we have done, and we are so excited to do the things that are necessary to make Idaho stronger and brighter for the future. You know, this election is about the future of Idaho. People have an amazing opportunity today to decide if they're okay with the status quo in Idaho or if they want to change how Idaho is being led and make sure that we have a stronger, more conservative leader at the helm. And I'm the one who has the experience necessary to make Idaho strong. I invite everybody to go to my website, RaulLabrador.com. We have a conservative vision for a stronger Idaho there. We have all the issues that I want to fight on. And what I can tell you is that people of Idaho are excited about the things that we're talking about.
Congressman, final question here. Congressman Labrador joining us at KIDO Talk Radio. The need to balance concerns of state employees with the need to take a hard look at, as some have said on this program, the cronies that are running the joint now.
That's a great question because the issue is, do we have somebody who can take on the cronies but can still work with the public employees? And I think I can. You know, I can tell you that in my time as a member of Congress and as a legislator, I have worked very well with public employees. I think we need to make sure that public employees are doing their duty, that they're working hard, and there's no waste or fraud in what they're doing. But what we need to get rid of is the cronyism that happens in Boise, where the contracts are being decided, are being given to just a few select people that are friends with the governor, where the decisions made in Boise are based on who gives the most money to the governor's campaign. Those things need to end in Idaho. And that's my promise to the people of Idaho, that I'm willing to take on the cronyism that is happening in Idaho. I have done it for 12 years. I have a record doing it. And that's why the special interest groups are not excited about my candidacy. And that's why they have all rejected my candidacy, because they know that business as usual will end in Boise. Cronyism will end, and I will put people first.
Congressman, good luck tonight. We will see you at the Riverside. We'd love to invite you, as we've invited everybody, to our Unity Breakfast and the Unity Rally with the State Republican Party. I know you're very busy, and I know you'll do your very best to be with us tonight and during the Thursday, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all you do. And I invite everyone, please call your friends. Remind everybody that today is primary day, and God bless.
God bless, Congressman Labrador. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Your call's next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And remember, our primary coverage begins tonight at 8 o'clock. Join the KIDO Talk Radio family. We'll be live at the Riverside, the first on in the Treasure Valley, the first on in the state, as we give you complete coverage. The polls will close at 9, but we'll be on at 8, working very hard to serve you. Then don't forget, Terry's Cafe in Meridian. We'll be there with the Republican Party, urging people to come together. We've got a lot to do before Glenn Beck today and Dave Ramsey and Sean Hannity. Let's get you to work safely. And we continue on. KIDO Talk Radio coming up. We're going to take a look at a few issues. Then we're going to hear from Michael Snyder, Russ Fulcher, and Steve Yates. A lot going on here before we, say we'll be seeing you. Of course, keep it right here for complete campaign contender coverage. We'll be joined by Glenn Beck, Dave Ramsey, Sean Hannity, Lars Larson, and remember, our coverage begins tonight at 8 o'clock. And if you're going to the Riverside, why don't you stop by, say hi to Ray Amaya. He'll be the well-dressed one amongst us. We'll be there broadcasting live. Our pregame show begins at 8, the first in the state to give you the complete coverage of this big issue. So again, we'll be on time at 8, taking your calls and covering the election as it happens, the primary as it happens. We've got a lot to do, and don't forget, next week, we're live at the Walmart Garrity and Franklin Miller's Mission. Stay tuned.